It was fast, it was loud, and it was getting away, so he ran after it. He would never catch it, but he didn't know that. He was 8 years old, and he was running after a car. He'd never seen one before. To him, it was magic, a machine that moved all by itself without anything pulling it. Years later, he would think back to this moment and tell his friends that he still had no idea what made him chase the car. But he did, and it became the moment that defined his life. In just a few short years, he would go from never seeing a car in his life to repairing them, racing them, and eventually even building them. Soichiro was born in a small Japanese village at the foot of Mount Fuji. It was the year 1906. Conditions were tough, and his family was poor. So poor that 5 of his siblings didn't survive childhood because of malnutrition and bad health. Soichiro, on the other hand, was an active, healthy child who was fascinated by machines and was constantly tinkering with tools in his father's bicycle repair workshop. But he was terrible at school, and one time he failed so badly that he had to forge his report card so he wouldn't get into trouble with his father. It didn't work, and he was punished severely. So at 15 years old, Honda made a huge decision. He quit school and moved to Tokyo to work at Art Chokai, a small car repair shop. It was a big gamble. He was risking everything, abandoning his education and moving away from his family because all he wanted to do was work with cars. The gamble failed. Soichiro had gotten a job, but he wasn't allowed anywhere near a car. Instead, he cleaned floors and babysat the owner's child. The only jobs he was allowed to do were menial ones. This continued for years. Eventually, he became overwhelmed, bitter, and lost all hope. The only reason he didn't quit was because he couldn't bear the shame of returning home as a failure. He needed to shake things up, and that's exactly what happened. A devastating 7.9 magnitude earthquake hit Tokyo, killing thousands of people. Many of the workshop staff became occupied with repairs at home, and Soichiro stepped up to help with the shop's operations. His hard work didn't go unnoticed, and he quickly became a trusted mechanic. Soichiro was so relieved at catching a break that he threw himself into work, and soon became a protege of the workshop owner. Years had passed, but he was finally working with cars. Now what? By his early 20s, Honda had proven himself. The owner of Art Chokai was so impressed that he wanted him to open up a second branch in Hamamatsu. Soichiro was thrilled with this opportunity and threw himself into work once again, but he would soon hit a big problem. Business was slow. Customers doubted his skills because he was so young. They didn't trust him to work on their expensive cars. How could he get customers to trust his skills? The answer was simple: show, don't tell. Soichiro decided that if he could build a car and race it, people would see proof of his skills and business would grow. He imagined the thrill of the crowd and the roar of the engine as he sped past the finish line. In 1936, he built the Hamamatsu race car and began racing. Soon, he set a Japanese speed record at 120 kilometers per hour. It worked. Business began pouring in. But motorsports are dangerous. That same year, Honda's car flipped during a high-speed rally, leaving him with severe injuries. As he lay in a hospital bed, his body broken, Honda faced a choice: continue risking his life to drive business to the workshop, or channel his passion into something greater for himself. In 1937, Honda put everything he had, all his life savings, into a new venture. He had given up his job and was starting from zero all over again. He founded a new company to manufacture piston rings. He thought he could supply them to major manufacturers. It was a bold move, but it didn't work. As soon as he started, he hit a dead end. His designs were a failure. Toyota rejected his products, citing poor quality. Honda realized he didn't know enough about metallurgy and precision manufacturing. He was stuck. He'd put everything into this and couldn't pull out. But he had so much to learn that it would take years before he could make products of a high enough quality for manufacturers to accept them. Determined to succeed, he enrolled in night classes and began visiting steel factories across Japan to learn. After relentless trial and error and years of failure, Honda finally perfected his piston ring design. Toyota placed a large order and the company started growing. But it wouldn't last. By the early 1940s, Honda's company employed hundreds of workers. But then, World War II began. Picture this. Aerial bombings have destroyed his factories. An earthquake has leveled what was left. The smoke, the rubble, the shattered dreams are all that he sees. With no way to rebuild, Soichiro is forced to sell his company to Toyota. At this point, most people would have given up, and he saw this as a chance to start fresh. Post-war Japan was in ruins. Gasoline was scarce, and people needed affordable transportation. And this is when Honda had an idea. Attach a small motor to a bicycle. It was simple, but brilliant. Imagine the streets of a devastated city filled with these motorized bicycles, giving people a way to rebuild their lives. The invention was an instant hit, and in 1948, after years of failure and setbacks, Honda Motor Company was born. Honda's early motorcycles were clunky, but he kept improving them. In 1958, he introduced the Super Cup, a lightweight, reliable bike. It wasn't just a product, it was a revolution. By the 1960s, Honda was the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world. He'd made it. He was rich. But it wasn't enough. He still wasn't satisfied. And he certainly wasn't done. Honda's ultimate dream was cars. In 1963, he launched the T360 mini truck. It flopped. Critics said Honda should stick to motorcycles. But he didn't give up. He hadn't given up after crashing his race car. He hadn't given up after the war, and he wasn't about to give up now. He went into stealth mode and refined his approach. After almost a decade, he resurfaced. In 1972, he introduced the Honda Civic. The Civic was everything the market needed: fuel efficient, affordable, and reliable. It became a global success, putting Honda on the map as a car manufacturer. By the 1980s, Honda was a powerhouse, competing with giants like Toyota and Ford. Today, Honda is the largest engine manufacturer in the world, producing more than 23 million engines every year for cars, motorcycles, boats, and power equipment. But if you think this story is crazy, it's nothing compared to Frederick's story. Watch this video to find out how a broke, uneducated paperboy built the most luxurious car in the world.